So I'm going to give you a nutshell version of the five wisdom energies. I call them different things in different contexts. In this context, I call them five authentic qualities of leadership. They can be applied in practically anything you could possibly think of in your life to do, whether it's raise children, be a CEO, be a marketing person, be a coach, be a trainer. They're, once you get the hang of it, they're very adaptable. I just had dinner with Irini, and she actually, I'm so happy to see her. She's from a school that we started in Holland, in the Netherlands, based on the five wisdom energies. It's very integral into it, and it's sort of gone out of the school bit, and she's going to try and bring them back in. So five wisdoms, I have to say that five wisdoms of any place in the world, in terms of my involvement, it's happening mostly with the Dutch. So bravo. So this system, this work, this practice is about people. Interpersonally, in other words, more awareness of yourself, and interpersonally, awareness of others. It's also, much as Clint described, there's a progression. It starts with all about me. In other words, once we get a sense of the energies, the qualities, we want to know who we are, what are our particular energies, and how we have a mix of them. Then we start becoming interested in all about us, or relational. You know, how we are when we're in different relationships with different people. Have you noticed that you are different with different people in different settings? What's that all about? Where you feel good and where you feel somewhat awkward. Then it's all about phenomena, the outer world. The energies are not only in us psychophysically, but they're in every aspect of phenomenal world. In other words, there's a raging storm. There's a quiet moment at the sea. There's a very angry boss. There's a child that needs your help. Those are all different energetic qualities that we encounter. And so this work becomes all about how we perceive and interact with our world, whether it's people or situations or places, all of those. Because we usually start with it as all about me, we're really talking about looking at personality types. That's the beginning level. That's the very beginning level. And in terms of personality types, do people have personality theory types? Have you studied different types? Yeah. What have you studied? Enneagram, Myers-Briggs.
Big five.
What?
Big five.
The big five. This is another big five. Take your pick. Most typologies sort of put you in a box, or maybe a couple of boxes. Like in the Enneagram, I'm a 9 and a 2, or whatever. It's like that. The basic premise with this is that we have the potential for all five within us. We start with five. If you notice, we're also all unique. So we all have our unique mix. So that, do the math. The five goes exponentially to infinity. So we're both predictable, because we generally, if we sort of think, well, maybe I'm red energy with a little mix of blue, there's certain patterns there that we begin to identify in ourselves and others and phenomena. And we say, yes, that I have some sense of predictability there. We're also unique. We're surprising. Phenomena is surprising. Do you know about the perfect storm? It's when these causes and conditions come together and there's just this most violent eruption of storm or a tsunami. Do you know all the causes and conditions and energetic shifts that have gone into those perfect storm and a tsunami? It's the same with us. We can be a perfect storm when someone presses our buttons, right? All the causes and conditions that come together where we go, or the causes and conditions where we fall passionately in love. This could not be better. You know, that kind of thing. So emotions, in terms of these five, are like the peak of each energy. And they're specific emotions, which I will say throughout this week. I don't want to go into too much detail. There's specific emotions for each one. But because we combine these, there's always a sense of layers and one energy shifting into the other, and energies that we feel very confident about being, and other energies that we tend to hide. Some energies, an energy we might use as a mask because we don't want to show our true self. So there's different ways, and the last exercise we're going to do on Sunday is about our particular energetic constellation, our particular mix. And it's not to define it, it's just starting to ask the questions of, who am I? Okay? So I said briefly this afternoon earlier that this comes from a contemplative tradition. So with a contemplative tradition, there's not just about knowing it in the moment. There's a whole path that unfolds. And the specific way the path unfolds for these energies, these qualities, is that they are both neurotic, we could say, intensified, as well as they have wisdom. And the path with them is to completely embrace where we get stuck. In other words, we don't shy away from the parts of ourselves that we find uncomfortable. That we're willing to stay with that discomfort because, as it says in my book, that right inside that confusion, that neurosis, that sense of constriction is your wisdom. It's our neurosis and our wisdom are in the same energetic matrix. And once we embrace the neurosis, there is an ability to feel the essence of the wisdom. I'll give you an example. Think of somebody you give me an example. Think of someone who's angry. Tell me, somebody, or yourself, somebody's angry. Tell me what they did or what you did or...
Shouting, talking.
Talking?
Can't interrupt it.
Talking, very energetic, yeah. And what are they saying?
You...
Blaming, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm right.
Yes.
I'm right, yeah. Yeah. So anger. Anger always is the best example because we all have experienced it. So within that anger, that sense of things are a certain way, and I'm absolutely clear about this, there's a sense of I'm right, right? I'm right. When you're angry, you're right. What's also interesting is that you're very clear. So when you learn to hold the clarity without imposing that you have to be right, then you've touched the wisdom. Now, it doesn't mean that you would never offer your clarity, but it does mean that you aren't judging others for being wrong, that you're not so involved with your